What's going down? It's your boy, EJ Nduka, the judge, and we're here in New York, the Battle Riot. And make sure y'all tune into True Heel Heat. They got it going. I'll see y'all.
This is M-Dog20, Matt Cross, and you're listening to True Heel Heat.
What's up, True Heel Heat? True Heel Heat. What's up? True Heel Heat. All hands is on me.
Check the sound skin. New York, we know where we at. We on the East Coast, but we from the West Coast. But it's all love, though. Trill, Heel, Heat. Yee.
Hey, you fucked that all up.
Hello. It is me, your True Heel Phenom SP3. We are live on the True Heel Heat YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter for our WWE Saturday night's main event 2025 or January 2025 review. Breaking down last night's show from WWE live on Peacock and NBC. 2 title matches, as well as 2 other bouts, as well as a contract signing for the Royal Rumble. So we're here to break it all down. And to do that, I am joined by my esteemed colleague going 3 days straight with me on the True Heel Heat YouTube channel with live streams for our members as well as our subscribers. He is the true draw himself. Josh, how are you feeling?
Doing good. I didn't watch the show live. I watched it after I watched Collision because the last experience I had wasn't a great one. Was Saturday night main event. So I was like, I'm not watching that shit live again.
And as someone who did,
I think Collision was better.
Yeah, it was. And I was like, that's what I was hoping for when I watched it. And I was like, yeah, pick the right show to watch first.
Collision, honestly, I would say Collision was one of the best AEW TV shows of the year so far. I know we're only just about 3-4 weeks into the new year, but it was the best episode of television for All Elite Wrestling this year.
Yeah. I like the flow of it. Obviously it's just so funny when it comes to AEW now because there's always a discourse. People always trying to find something to complain or a discourse. It was like the Okada Commander match. That was a fun matchup. I enjoyed that match. But then somebody's like, where's the story? Why am I invested to watch this? But I'm like, it's fucking wrestling. People wrestle all the fucking time. You don't always need
I just wish overall we would stop and we would just ignore where the story people, because it doesn't matter if we tell those people what the story is or if there is a story or not, they're gonna say the same thing.
Yeah, it's always the goalpost. It's like, and then the Timeless Tony angle, I thought that was incredible. And then somebody's like, why wasn't this on Dynamite? And it's just like, you want stuff on Collision too, guys. Like, that's the whole fucking point of the show. Like, you want stuff on Collision. Doesn't matter if it's getting like the lowest ratings compared to Dynamite. You still need something prominent. They're paying a lot of money for it. You need stuff on the show.
Yeah, this was a great angle. This was the most effort Tony Khan has put going up against a WWE show in like a year and a half.
Yeah, and I thought it was great. Even the Big Bill and Powerhouse Hobbs stuff, I thought that was great too. It was way better than I expected, especially that last spot.
That made both of those guys look like badasses coming out of Collision last night.
Yeah, I was fun, because I think Big Bill, like he's really held his own, right? Regardless, I think he's really held his own, even with like he's in this stable with Jericho, but I think he's been the best part of that.
I said that yesterday on the Fightful post show. I was like, Big Bill. I was like, I know a lot of people are into Brian Keefe, and I love Brian Keefe, but he has not been presented the same as Big Bill.
He's a third wheel.
Big Bill has been obviously the guy outside of Jericho that's been protected in this angle, and that's why it's actually good that he's facing someone who's also been protected as a monster in Powerhouse Hobbs, and it feels like a formidable kind of rivalry between the two.
Yeah, I thought, man, that was great shit. Like, honestly, like, especially that, again, like that last spot when they were like prepping themselves, I was like, oh shit. And they landed that shit great. I was like, damn. It's great. Great. It was a great all around episode. And I think he should probably take notice. There was no Death Riders on the show. There was no Death Riders. There was no
Death Riders, no Jarrett, no Jericho.
Yeah, and it's just
the three acts that aren't working were not on the show, and it was the best show of the year so far. Coincidence? I think not.
I don't think it's a coincidence at all. That's why I'm like, hopefully he takes some notes, man. Sometimes it's okay to pivot. Some angles you got to pivot. It's okay. Like, and I wouldn't be mad at it. I wouldn't be mad if he was deciding even on Dynamite to scrap everything. Just do it. Just fucking do it.
It's true. It's very true. Yeah, a lot of good stuff on Collision last night. If you guys haven't seen it in the chat, definitely go out of your way to see the Tony Storm Mariah May segment, which is really kind of like the big segment that everybody's talking about from last night's show. But like Josh said, the Powerhouse Hobbs Big Bill brawls were a lot of fun. The main event was great. I thought it was easily probably Shibata's best match in a year. Probably since his matches with Bryan and Ospreay ahead of Dynasty. That's probably his best matches since then with Konosuke Takeshita on last night's show. So check that out. There's some build-in for even Buddy Matthews versus Kazuchika Okada. Maybe that's at Grand Slam. So
that was also great too. That was great. That was a great it was small, it was short, but I think it did its job to see like, all right, Buddy's gonna be the next challenger, and clearly their faces, the new stable, their faces. I like the direction. Yep, I like the direction they've been going so far with it.
Yeah, really good stuff. But on NBC and the Peacock, you had WWE Saturday night's main event, the second iteration of the returning brand, the returning show, the NBC kind of staple from the 1980s, early 90s, as well as it's coming back in the 2000s. It made its return last month in December. We reviewed that show, and we were pretty kind of even keel on that show. I think you may have given it like a 6.5. I gave it a 7.
Oh no, I didn't do the review. Yeah,
Oh,
I
you didn't do
the-
that. Yeah, you didn't do that review. That was
I didn't do the
forgot
review,
who
but I gave it like around 6.5. Like honestly, like it was like around six and a
How
half
did
for
I know?
me.
How did I know your score? Oh, you probably told me on the flagship. Then you probably showed me on the
Yeah.
flagship. So, I'm now I'm confused. I think I did. Maybe I did that with Rob Wilkins. I'm like
No,
very
I didn't.
confused. I
No, you
thought
did
I
that
did
one.
that
That
with
one
you.
solo. You did that one solo.
I did. Look at that. Look at that. I was gonna check it too, but thank you. But yeah, I did that one solo. So I'm glad you're joining me today. So I don't have to do this show solo because that was actually a fine, solid show that we had to review last time. There was nothing bad on this show, per se. Like I think all the matches were at least solid, decent to good. Or even I would say the one of the matches was very good on the show, but this felt like one of the most inconsequential shows of WWE I've watched in a long time. Like this felt like a show. If I missed it, I ain't missed shit. I did not miss a goddamn thing if I missed this show. And none of the matches are going to be matches that I probably even remember after next Saturday's Royal Rumble. Like, even the best match on this show was good. And you can go as far as to say very good. If you start calling it great, I'm going to be like, I don't know about that. I've seen them have a great match. That wasn't that one. It was a very good one with a hot crowd, but it wasn't a great match. This is not going to be the show that you write home about, but it may have given us an indication of what we should expect from these shows. Where I think it was my good friend, our friend of the channel, Maggie. She will probably, fingers crossed, join me for the Royal Rumble preview this week. But she messaged me this morning and she was like, "Well, that was WWE's Battle of the Belts," and I was like, "Yep."
I've been seeing a lot of people saying that. A lot of people have been saying that, and I'm like, that's very accurate. I mean, I honestly, in general, I don't expect much from Saturday Night Main Event. When I heard it was coming back, I was just like, oh, okay, another cash grab for them. That's just how.
I just thought they would use it more of like the infomercial style. I thought that the first one was a nice little infomercial style TV show where you give you kind of very, very snackable, digestible matches. It's big stars involved. You had your Drews, your Sammys, your Livs. You had Rhea Ripley showed up. You had Cody Rhodes. You had the Kevin Owens. Had the first ever Women's United States Championship matchup. So they had some stuff you can sink your teeth into. Some stars here, and there was some stars on last night's show. Rhea Ripley is, of course, a star. Jay Uso is a star. They're really building up Jacob Fatu to be one of those mainline top stars in the promotion. And if it was not for the Jacob Fatu angle on this show, I probably would have chose to miss it if I wasn't doing this review and the review last night for Fightful.
Same.
Because I watched it on my laptop as I had Collision on the screen. So this morning I went back and actually watched it on the big screen, and I was like, I can't believe I watched this show twice.
Well, me, I was just like, you know what? I watch it because of the review, so I didn't want to go in. Usually, like if I'm doing a review, I like watching the show. I don't want to be one of those who goes in with a deer in the headlights kind of thing, and like, oh, I'm gonna go buy off of what I see like on Twitter and see clips. I was like, you know what? Let me sit down. Let me watch it. Let me give a fair review. And you know, when I watched it, I was like, okay, like I watched it. Cool. Like I didn't feel nothing. It was just another show for me.
No, it wasn't. And like I said, because I was there live for the first Saturday night's main event in December, and I said that felt like a glorified house show, but it was a fun one to be live there for. It was fun, nice nostalgia and stuff. Like we're only 2 episodes in, and I'm just like, yeah, this nostalgia doesn't move me. It's nice that we are honoring Gene Okerlund, but like that, I think the nostalgia was only going to get me once. It's not something that's going to keep getting me the more they do this.
Yeah, I kind of felt the same. I thought I was like the only one that kind of felt that way. And I was just like, all right, you did it for the first one. Well, I don't need to see like all these like you're trying to do like the old music and the referee shirts. Like you already changed the shirts for Netflix and SmackDown. Like, you already changed the shirts for that. I don't need. It's like whatever. Like I was like, I don't know what you guys are trying to do, but I'm like, it's not really standing out to me. It's not doing nothing for me. You get away from it. Just go with what you do currently. That's fine.
Well, let us know in the chat what you thought about last night's Saturday night's main event. Did you like it? Did you think it was a good show, bad show, in the middle? Let us know what you think. We got a couple of people in the chat with us already. I Make Beats, who says, hello, SB3. Hello, Josh. We also got Santo in the chat, who says, good morning, good afternoon, my THH fam. Decent show last night, and HBK showing he can kick or tick talk a super kick. We also got
barely.
We also got I Make Beats, who says I didn't either. I watched it today. He says that Mariah Tony segment was so good. We also got Davion, who says I need to watch the Mariah and Tony segment. And Davion also saying it was a solid enough show, nothing too crazy. Yeah, I think like the best compliments that you can give the show, and I've seen this, is pretty much the consensus on this show is that the best thing you can say is it was solid, it was decent. You're not saying, no one's saying the show was good. Like, and good is not even like the biggest compliment you could give a show, but good is like a bare minimum of what I think a wrestling show should be. Most fans should say it was good. When you're saying solid, when you say a decent, you're saying to me that it's less than good. That's what I don't think a lot of people realize that.
Yeah, and usually a lot of WWE fans, a lot of the pro WWE fans, they usually, again, like I was talking about the scale. If something is decent, they'll say, "Oh my god, that show was fantastic," and I'm just like, "The fuck did you see? That was fantastic." I'm like, fantastic to me. You're saying like that's like at least a 9 or like even close to a 10. That's a fantastic to me. Like when you say that, but I'm just like, it's okay to say, yeah, it was okay. I thought the show was fine. Like it was fine, but I don't think it was incredible.
It was passable. It was acceptable. That's that type of thing. But yes, I appreciate y'all for joining us live. We both appreciate y'all for joining us live. Appreciate y'all if you're watching us on demand. Remember to show your appreciation back the simplest way possible by dropping the thumbs up on this video. You can also share this video with all your wrestling fans, friends, and family on all your favorite social media platforms. If you're new to the True Hill Heat YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell to stay notified for all the great content here. And like a lot of y'all have done already, sound off in the live chat. We have a bunch of matches and stuff to talk about from last night's show, but we want to hear your thoughts. So sound off. We'll try to highlight as many of your comments as possible. But of course, if you're feeling generous, you want to give back to what we do here, you want to make sure your comment is highlighted on screen and show your support to the True Hill Heat YouTube channel. You could do that with a super chat donation. Any dollar amount matters. It goes back to the contributors that you see on screen with us here. And we always, always appreciate the support. We do have a super chat goal in the chat for y'all today. A modest one, because we don't usually have a lot of people watching our Sunday streams unless it's the flagship podcast or a big pay-per-view on a Sunday. Then y'all usually show up. But we don't have that many. So I bid a modest goal of 5 super chats. And then I said, you decide. Maybe I'll do another members live stream for y'all next week as well, if we can hit that goal and hit a couple of more goals this week. So appreciate y'all in the chat for showing us some love, but keep sounding off, keep sending those super chat donations. But we're going to start with Saturday night's main event, which took place from San Antonio, Texas. What did you think about the crowd last night in San Antonio?
Sure. I mean, the crowd was good. They get excited for anything. Usually the WWE crowd, they get excited for anything. So I mean, they did their part. They got loud when they needed to get loud. More so that than anything. Like stuff, maybe parts that they need to get loud, they did. It was a fine crowd.
Yeah, I thought the crowd was very vocal into the stuff that got them excited, especially with the main event. I thought they were very vocal throughout the opening matchup, and then they were excellent during the Jacob Fatu angle. But let's get into the show last night. As per usual, based on the first time they brought back Saturday night's main event, we got our podium pals of Jesse the Body Ventura and Joe Testator. This podium, the podium that they're going to use for Saturday night's main event, Michael Cole later in the show announced that it would be referred to as the Okerlund position, which is pretty cool. I know there is a joke there, a reference there. If you know Gene Okerlund, somebody would say, oh, man, I thought the Okerlund position was the corner of the bar. But anyway, the Okerlund position is a nice little tribute to Mean Gene. They've done this in the past for, of course, Gorilla Monsoon with the Gorilla position backstage, but nice little tribute to him. And Jesse was in rare form on this show.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was worried about when it comes to Jesse. He's a very entertaining guy, but he's very very outspoken, and I was just like, oh boy, like I was, the first one he was very tamed, but then this one he called out the government.
No, for me, really, when he started annoying me or going too hard with this stuff was the freaking the Intercontinental title match.
Yeah,
because I know he's one for conspiracy theories, but the referee did not count 3. I'm just want to let Jesse know, because Jesse's probably woke up in a sweat like that referee counted 3.
Yo, and he I think he also got bleeped for saying WWF. I think he got censored. Yo.
Power Driver Finisher says, yeah, it was underwhelming aesthetically. I love the nostalgia. I would like if they switched it up a bit.
They're not going to do that.
Yeah,
WWE, they're very pro nostalgia. So I don't think that's going to happen. And if that's what the network wants, then that's what the network's going to keep. But I don't see it changing. Like if this is the second one that they did and it was the same format, I don't see it. I don't see it changing anytime soon.
Bell says, hey guys, it was better than the first one. I'll give it that. Jacob is a star. I disagree. I don't think it was better than the first one. It was either on par with the first one or slightly lower than the first one, to be honest with you, because the nostalgia, the aesthetics of it all is not going to be as like, oh, wow, that's cool, man. It's cool they brought it back. You're not going to say that on the second one. So that's taken away
to me it was,
that you had in the first one. Then you also had a title, the first ever champion of a title being crowned. So that's a memorable moment that you're automatically going to remember. And then Cody and KO was good. And then you had the package power driver angle, which has been so important to what they have done with their rivalry. That's 2 things that's memorable from this show. Outside of Jacob Fatu, what else is memorable on this show? Nothing. So, no, I do not agree that this one was better than the first one. It's either the best I could give it is it's on par with the first
one. For me, it's about I think it's kind of the same. Like again, maybe I probably like the angles more. Maybe like you said, the Jacob Fatu stuff. Maybe I liked it more than what I saw in the first thing, but I felt like you said, when they kind of do the same thing, when you do a second show almost similar, it's not going to feel as special, you know what I mean? Like, it kind of takes away from that.
And it was only a month ago. It's not even like we had time to really, like, be like, oh, man.
Digest it. It was, like, legit, less than a month ago, I would say, right?
Yeah. No, a month ago. About a month ago.
So, about a month ago. Yeah. So, it's like, but the first one I watched live and I kind of regret watching it live, and then this time around I was like, oh, all right, like I felt satisfied because I didn't watch it live.
Yeah, they're probably better off not watching it live, I guess. But let's get into the opening contest on this show, which was for the WWE Women's World Championship. Rhea Ripley making her first defense against the challenger, Nia Jax. I will say, I didn't say this, I don't think during our preview for this show, because I did that alone, and then also for our final predictions on True Hill Heat yesterday. It doesn't make a lot of sense that Tiffany Stratton did this long-term plan to cash in on Nia Jax by lowering her into a false sense of security, cashes in, beats her for the title, and Nia decides to go challenge for the other title. Doesn't make a lot of sense. I just wanted to mention that. It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Just in general, when you just say it out loud or you put it down on paper, doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But following the whole pomp and circumstance, we get the big intro with Lillian Garcia has the old school 80s microphone set that came down from the skies. Rhea Ripley got a great reaction from the crowd. Nia cheap shots her early on as the championship introductions were progressing. Ripley assumed control with a DDT. She followed up with a cannonball from the apron. In the ring, Jax withstood clotheslines from the Women's World Champion and then flattened her with a big headbutt. In the corner, Jax took her fall down with an avalanche Samoan drop, but was only able to score the 2 count. We returned with Ripley reversing a move from Jax, and she tried to rally back into the matchup. An attempted springboard Hurricane Rana was caught by Nia, but Ripley turned that into a code red for a near fall. Ripley's attempt at a riptide was countered into a Samoan drop by Jax. The challenger headed up to the second rope and hit a big leg drop, but was only able to get a 2. In the corner, Ripley showed impressive strength by dropping Jax with a powerful-looking powerbomb. She attempted a prism lock, but fucking struggled to get Nia's big-ass legs in any type of prism lock, and Nia was eventually able to kick out of it. Nia hits the Samoa Joe corner Uranagi. She went to the to the second rope, but gets an annihilator. She tries another one, but got driven to the outside. Ripley climbed to the top and hit a super crossbody off the top rope to the floor that really got the crowd into things. Back in the ring, Ripley tried for another riptide, but Nia was able to reverse thing and splatted her on the mat by using her weight. Jax hits an annihilator again. She tries for the second in a row once again, but Ripley is able to lift her onto her shoulders and hit an electric chair drop. Ripley avoided a splash from Jax before finishing her off with the riptide. 1, 2, 3. Rhea Ripley defeats Nia Jax to retain the WWE Women's World Championship. This was an enjoyable opener to the show. I think that Rhea Ripley is able to work so well with Nia Jax because everyone else she faces in the division, she's going to overpower. She's going to have that size and strength advantage. Whereas when she faces Nia, she has to try different things to get control and get offense. She has to go to the top rope and do dives to the outside. She has to pull out fucking code reds. She has to do electric chair drops. And the riptide always going to look more impressive on Nia than anyone else. So I think that Rhea Ripley and Nia Jax have great chemistry with one another, and this was another solid bout between the two of them. What did you think?
Yeah, I thought it was a solid opener. I didn't see as many mistakes, which is always good for like a Nia Jax kind of match. The less mistakes you see, the better it kind of looks. So I didn't see that many mistakes. I saw like the one that you just mentioned, but that was about it. It was a solid overall match, and I know a lot of people focused more on like I saw the clip online where I think Nia like grabbed Rhea's butt like out of nowhere, like just like legit just like grabbed it, and then I was just like, there's no point of that, but I mean I kind of get it. I'm not saying she's wrong. I just saying I understand.
Like, I understand going for it. I think anyone who was wrestling on Rhea Ripley would go for that.
Yeah, because when I saw the clip, I was just like, yeah, why did she do that? But it was bad funny because it was just like when you try to grab on somebody or whatever the case may be to brace yourself, but there was none of that. And I was just like, oh, okay. Like that was rad.
You hit him with the what is it? I think it's Nicki Minaj or Cardi B. That's weird. That's strange. Okay.
Yeah.
Like one of those.
Yeah. I was like, what the fuck? Yeah.
And Nia Jax always does that. Remember, this is the same woman who missed a leg drop on the apron and screamed, "My hole." Nia has some. You got to watch Nia Jax matches very closely because she has Easter eggs. She leaves Easter eggs for you. She's on some Kenny Omega.
Oh, that was a big Easter egg for sure.
She's on some Kenny Omega Easter egg shit.
Well, that was definitely a big Easter egg for sure.
Easter egg right up the booty, right? That's what she said. Right up the hole. But yeah, Nia. I like when Nia keeps it simple. I enjoyed this matchup more than the usual Nia Jax match because she kept it simple. She was a monster. She only got off her feet to do the leg drop off the second rope and the Annihilator. That's what I want to see. I don't want to see Nia Jax trying any Hurricane Radas. I don't want to see Nia Jax taking any moves that she cannot take. I don't want to see Nia Jax swinging no goddamn chair. I think you gotta let her stay in her wheelhouse, and that's what Rhea Ripley does when she goes against her.
Yeah, I agree. It was good.
So good stuff here. We talked about yesterday the report that Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair is being discussed for WrestleMania. The more I think about it, the more I like it, and I think that it's the best option. It's the best option for her because I would enjoy a Rhea versus Io matchup, and I wouldn't mind Becky Rhea too. But the biggest matchup that's fresh, that will still be of a high quality and is against the biggest star possible is Bianca.
Yeah, and then also with Bianca because she's kind of, been in the background for a while. I think it's very easy to heat her up, like her star power up. Yeah. It's very easy to do it because they've done it before. So I think it would be pretty easy to make her mean something again. So I mean, like we said yesterday, like when we were talking about like it was the right move or not, I said that it was I think is the better, like the best move to go with. Yeah, I do say that. Yeah, maybe it is the right move because right now there's not many. I mean, they have options, but at the same time, this is a fresh matchup, and this is something they've kind of been alluding to for years, right? Rhea versus Bianca. So, I mean, might as well happen. And again, it helps the card, right? It helps the WrestleMania card. So I'll say go for it. I mean, people wanted Jade versus Bianca. There's nothing there at the moment. So, I mean.
And who are these people?
Yeah.
Like I know we have one person who's vocal about it on our team, but I didn't see a lot of people agreeing with them.
I mean, it was just like, for me, it was one of those things where I was just like, why do you want to see Jade versus Bianca exactly? No disrespect to Jade, but I was just like, what's the angle? What's the point? And I guess like, the tag team thing, maybe it was supposed to set up like some kind of matchup. I guess that's what they were gonna do, but then something happened and plans change obviously, but the way they've been using Jade, I mean, that's not really an exciting match. No. Rhea versus Bianca is way more exciting, and I think those ladies will still show.
It's not a match that they've prepared her for.
Yeah, and then honestly, like depending on what like you put in night one, that could they could kind of steal the show of night one, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I agree with you there. We got Bell who mentioned the how we opened the show. Bell says, I got FOMO from everybody saying that they got Spanish commentary overlay because we didn't get it on YouTube. Yes, it literally made me fucking pause on Sling. I had to pause it on Sling because I was like, yo, what the fuck? Do I have something else on my laptop? Do I have something else on in a different tab? Why do I hear Spanish speaking over Jesse and Joe? Paused it, and I was like, it's all gone. I was like, oh, they fucked up the audio? Yeah, they fucked
Yeah,
up the money.
I saw SRS mention it, and he made like a joke or something, and I was just like, what is he talking about? And then I saw other people talking about it, and I was like, oh, that's funny. I was like, oh, okay.
I was so thoroughly confused. I literally had to pause my shit, and then I was a couple of seconds behind on shit, but it was fine. It added up to me being able to see a couple of matches during commercials on Collision, so cool. We also got Davion in the chat who says Nia is so much better as a power wrestler. Indeed. Just keep her in our wheelhouse. She's gonna be fine. Bell says, I feel like it was Naomi that attacked Jade anyway. You should watch True Hill Heat flagship podcast. I already told you the booking. You're welcome. I told you the booking. Told you what we could do with Jade if Bianca faces Rhea. We're WWE, Triple H. You're all set. Watch True Hill Heat 313. We see in the crowd joining us from San Antonio, Texas, was Alundra Blaze, aka Medusa, having the old women's championship on her shoulder that she threw in the trash on WCW Nitro, as well as fellow WWE Hall of Famer and Texas own Mark Henry. Mark Henry showing up as much as possible ever since he left AEW.
Yeah, because he's a WWE shell now. He even bragged about getting a basic ass holiday card, but nobody signed it. Nobody wrote his name on it. But apparently he was very grateful to the point that he posted it on social media and posted a video like a fucking mark.
Oh shit, that's not a good look. That's actually I'm honestly disgusted by Mark Henry here.
Oh, you didn't know he did that?
Yeah, that's cringe. That's fucking
cringe. Yeah, he did that. He did a whole video. He was just like, it feels good to be appreciated. He opens up the card. It's a blanket. It's a WWE holiday card, but nobody signed it. It was a basic ass card. Nobody signed it. Nobody wrote nothing. There was no personal message. He just opened it in the mail. And I was just like, bro, like you're never gonna beat these allegations now. Like, this is why people are turned off by Busted Open. Like, you're not beating these allegations anytime soon.
All I'm gonna say, if you like Busted Open, watch the better version, In the Weeds, on Fightful Overbooked. They're gonna be going 5 days a week, so now you don't need to listen to Busted Open Radio. And maybe someone you like from this channel might be on 2 of those days. You never know. I'll wait for them to announce it. But moving on, you had the Intercontinental Championship up for grabs next. Wait, I'm gonna let the police walk by for trying to arrest. All right, I think it's pulling away now. We get up next the Intercontinental Championship up for grabs. Jesse the Body Ventura joins the commentary desk as this Braun Breaker defending against Sheamus. These two men have been having various matches over the last couple of months. It really feels like Braun Breaker can't face anyone but Sheamus and Ludwig Kaiser sometimes, I'll be honest. But this was another competitive contest between the two men. Very hard hitting, as we usually expect from these two. They locked horns and start this in counter. The champ broke off the lock and laughed arrogantly at his foe. Sheamus began to work over Breaker in the corner with clubbing blows, followed by a hard lariat. Breaker recovered and hit a belly-to-belly throw. Breaker made a speedy run around the ropes to send Sheamus outside with a clothesline. At ringside, Sheamus caught Breaker after an attempted super spear and basically launched him like a snake eyes into the timekeeper's area. In the ring, Sheamus threw Breaker onto the apron and wanted to deliver the 10 beats of the Bowery, but Breaker was able to escape. As Sheamus leaped off of the steel steps, Breaker catches him with one of the fiercest looking spears we've seen in quite some time. Looked like he split Sheamus in half. This really gave him control, as Sheamus was working over the Riz when we come back from commercial break, delivering multiple rib breakers in the middle of the ring. Sheamus fired himself up. Breaker taunted him, and he answered with a big knee to the champion that only got a near fall. As Sheamus scurried to the apron, that left him open for the 10 beats of the Bowery. He got 16 instead of 10 on this occasion. Sheamus lifted Breaker up high, hits the Celtic cross. He only gets a 1-2 kick out. Braun hoisted Sheamus above his head with a gorilla press slam, but that was not enough for a 3. On the corners, Breaker paid homage to his uncle with a Frankensteiner. He attempted a spear, but Sheamus catches him in midair with a bro kick. It looks like it's over as Sheamus gets the cover. 1, 2. Breaker gets his foot on the rope. Jesse the Body Ventura is going apoplectic at this point, saying that the referee fucked up. He counted 3. The match should be over. Referee's decision is final. Sheamus attempts for another bro kick, but his bad ribs gave out. Breaker eventually seizes the moment. After running the ropes, he hits a big spear, the second of the matchup. 1, 2, 3. Braun Breaker retains the Intercontinental Championship in a super fun matchup. These two men just know how to beat the hell out of each other and entertain the fans in every way. This was a very good matchup. In this one, I gave the opener to the show 3 stars. I gave this one, I'm gonna give this one 3 3/4 stars. A really strong matchup here. Another strong title defense for Braun Breaker. They just got to give this guy a story. He can't just be randomly facing Sheamus and Ludwig Kaiser all the time. There is a story here with Sheamus. Sheamus has his whole arc of winning the Intercontinental Championship, and now he's been defeated by the champion. I hope that this leads to a story being formed before the two, because I really feel we can have a major Intercontinental title match at a WrestleMania if it's Sheamus versus Breaker again, but this time title versus career.
Which is funny because like Sheamus just signed a 5-year contract, so it's like, I mean, that'd be great. I mean, that's something, man. Because like you said, like this, like like it's a little frustrating because like they want to push Braun Breaker as like the next generational star, right? Like the next top guy, and for one, I haven't seen that yet. I've seen it that he has moments. He definitely has moments. But I kind of felt like the digression has been more creative, more than Braun Breaker. I feel like the second reign hasn't been great. It has not been great. He's barely been used, but then like even when they showed him in the crowd, like I was just like, okay, like can you do something else with the guy? He could work. He's great for what he could do now. Use him. But then also, like you said, like the whole Sheamus, Ludwig, like it's a whole fucking disgusting cycle that keeps happening. All the guys, they work well together. Don't get me wrong, they work well together. But then, like you kind of fall in that pattern where it's like, okay, now this is getting tiring. Like now it's just like, come on, like these guys could be doing more. Like what Sheamus could do. He should be doing more. And with Sheamus, this will be the prominent storyline for him, trying to get the IC title, and then he becomes Grand Slam champion, right? Like, yeah. So it's like there's something there, but then it's like you got to do Braun Breaker favors because he's the younger guy. Again, he's supposed to be your future. Make it mean something, But besides that, I mean, the match was actually great. I thought it was a good match between the guys. That spear was crazy. The only nitpick I had has nothing to do with anything. It was just more the shit because like I kind of got worried that I thought Sheamus was gonna fucking like hit his head on the steps. Yeah. So the way he landed kind of just didn't look like a spear. So like he landed like right on his ass just so he could protect himself, which is actually smart on his end. He's actually really good at that, knowing like he was self-aware of if I fucking jump, I might, he's protecting himself. But I think that was like the only nitpick I had. Like the spear looked good. It was just like I was more worried like, oh, he's gonna fuck his shit up, like more in the back of the head. But it was a great matchup, and I'm like, that's what they should be doing more with Braun. Like, fucking make him a badass. You had him you were making him a badass before that. Now it's just like it's kind of on cruise control, and this is kind of a guy that shouldn't be on cruise control. Like, he's too young. He's too, again, like this is one of your young stars who you should be presenting, he should be doing more than just the same old.
I agree with you 1000% here. They gotta figure out what they want to accomplish with this Intercontinental Championship run. This Intercontinental Championship run should be his proving ground to prove that he's ready to become the World Heavyweight Champion. Ergo, similar to what you just did with Gunther, and even with, to a lesser extent, with Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn's Intercontinental title run has propelled him to the point where it feels like in his career, the only thing left for him to do is be the World Heavyweight Champion. In Braun Breaker, you have the opportunity to do that with someone much younger that's going to be in the company for 10 to 15 years more, and you're choosing not to. You're presenting him as a champion to forget about. You're booking him in the same vein that you're booking Shinsuke Nakamura as U.S. champion, and that shouldn't be happening.
Yeah, I mean, at that point with Shinsuke, I mean, he probably should have never gotten the title to begin with.
Also true.
It's like, you're doing the same thing with the guy that you gave him the IC title. He had it for how many months, and he only defended like once or twice. You're doing the same shit again. So I was like, what was the point? Like, what was the point of that? You're taking a belt off that you were using. I used for LA Knight. Like, LA Knight was like, he was defending it sometimes, but it was on TV. It was being presented. And now it's like nothing. Like, where's Shinsuke again? Like, you gave him a title and you gave him vacation again? I mean, he's living the life, I guess.
Hey, he got to take the titles for surfing. He got to get a surfboard for a title. The title be riding the waves and stuff. It's a fun time for him. We got in the chat Bell, who says, does anyone think Sheamus might because I have no idea, finally get it at Romania, because that is a story. I think that they have to pay off the Sheamus Intercontinental Championship story, because it's been going on for the better part of 3 years. The better part of 3 years you've been telling this story. You gotta pay it off somehow, some way. And I've already put WWE on the clock. You got till WrestleMania to get it done. It don't have to happen at WrestleMania. It could be the Royal Rumble. It could be the Elimination Chamber. Hell, it could be a random ass episode of Monday Night Raw. But you have to finish telling this story, because there's other stories to tell, but you can't have this one lingering so long. So I think that WWE needs to have Sheamus win the Intercontinental Championship probably in the next month or two. That's just me. I think are you experiencing technical difficulty? I saw you were freezing a bit, but you're moving again.
No, I am.
Okay.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, it's the Wi-Fi jumping in and out. Like,
I feel you. My headphones have gone out, so you're not alone. I'm getting technical difficulties too. But we saw more legends in the crowd. We get Hacksaw Jim Duggan, the winner of the first ever Royal Rumble matchup. He's also there with Dory Funk Jr., as well as the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. Man, Ted DiBiase, I know he's been wearing that freaking fake suit at like conventions and shit for the better part of like 25 years.
It's true. As long as he's not like his son, he'll be drinking. Yeah, I think with his buddy Brett Favre, from what I know.
Oh man. Oh god. That's the worst friend to have. Brett Favre, really? But yes, that's into the contract signing, where we had the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, coming out to the ring in his hometown of San Antonio, Texas. And he's here to moderate this contract signing for Cody Rhodes versus Kevin Owens in a ladder match for the Undisputed WWE Championship coming up at Royal Rumble in a ladder match. Michaels started by saying he was so happy to be back in San Antonio, and that he had been given one job tonight, to walk out to the ring with the contract and have it signed by Rhodes and Owens. He said that he was the closer that SmackDown GM Nick Aldis sent for tonight. He says that he couldn't get the job done, so I'm here to get it done. Without further ado, we get Michaels introducing Kevin Owens, who wore a Cody Sucks Egg shirt. Yes, he is the Terry Funk to Cody's Dusty Rhodes. And Cody Rhodes comes out to a huge ovation from the San Antonio fans. As Rhodes and Owens stared each other down in the ring with their respective championships on their shoulders, Michaels told them to be seated, but they both refused to do so. HBK said that for as much as we enjoyed Rhodes and Owens battering each other for months, his assignment was to walk out of tonight with their Royal Rumble match contract signed. Cody Rhodes had no issue doing so. He signs the contract first before Owens was supposed to do so. Owens then takes the mic and he says that that Rhodes talked about something that pissed him off last night on SmackDown. He said that Rhodes saying that Owens took the easy way out annoyed him. Before KO can continue his diatribe, Rhodes told him to shut up because he was done talking about Kevin Owens and he was looking ahead to who he was going to face at WrestleMania. Owens said that at the Royal Rumble, he will shut up everyone who doubted him, and he will prove to be the true WWE champion. He was like, I'm not the one. And he's like, I'm not the one that takes the easy way out because you're the one that quit while I stayed, and you get to come back and reap all the benefits of my hard work. He says that everything that Cody has will be his once everything is all said and done. Michaels interrupted and told Owens he sounded jealous. KO took umbrage with that remark and lashed out at Michaels, claiming that he was bringing more pride and prestige to the Wing Eagle Championship than HBK ever did, which made me laugh. Owens then finally signed the contract and forcefully shoved it to HBK's chest. On Michaels' instruction, a referee took both Rhodes and Owens' championships and hung it on the hanger. Michaels said that only one man will walk out the undisputed WWE champion next Saturday before he wished both Cody and KO the best of luck. As HBK tried to shake both men's hands, KO refused. Cody accepted, but that led to KO attacking Cody with a cheap shot, laying him out as HBK pushed him and got in his face. This led to KO kicking HBK in the stomach. He looked for the package power driver when Cody responded with a super kick. And then as KO tried to get up from that super kick, HBK took off his jacket. He tuned up the band and he hit sweet chin music to the self-proclaimed owner of the WWE Winged Eagle Championship. So not a nice night in San Antonio for KO. But I'll be honest with you, KO's great at what he does. He was good here, but this segment did not need to be on the show.
It didn't. It could have been on SmackDown.
Could have been on SmackDown. Easily could have been on SmackDown. Would have fit more in place on an episode of SmackDown than here.
Yeah, I get they're trying to I don't know, they probably just wanted, hey, Cody, can you just show up? You don't let it wrestle, but can you make this event feel important? Maybe it was that. Obviously, they were trying to use the whole San Antonio thing because of HBK as well, so that's why he was only implementing that. I mean, the segment itself was fine. It was just it didn't really do nothing for me.
It didn't make me more invested in the Royal Rumble match. No.
Yeah, and again within the feud, the problem I have with the feud, even though it's been entertaining, but it's been entertaining because of KO. Like KO's doing shit, right? He's doing stuff that's like, oh my god, this guy is funny. Like we know what he could do, but then I think for me, the investment for me is that he's gonna lose anyway, and it sucks to feel that way. Like it sucks to view it that way because, I shouldn't maybe as a wrestling fan, but at the same time, we kind of know what WWE is about, and this feud has already been how long already? Even before he turned heel, like it's been a while.
Yeah, 'cause you can
And
say
this is gonna be the
can
third
really
matchup,
say
and Cody's already won the feud, so it's like
you could probably
I don't
say the
know,
feud started
like
back in like August.
it's time to wrap.
August. That's crazy. It's been going on since August, the feud, because the first match was back at Bash in Berlin.
See that and that's ridiculous. Like since August, and Cody has a lot. The fucking feud is lopsided. You know what I mean? Like, how can I be invested in that? You know, like I love Cody, but it's like, I mean, I'm just calling it like it is. You know, like, KO's been entertaining, but then after he loses, what's gonna happen with KO? Is anything prominent gonna happen with him? I don't think it is, and it sucks because. You know, it's not like the Drew McIntyre effect where Drew, he lost to Punk and we were kind of worried, but he's kind of been on his thing. Like, Drew still feels important. I don't know if that's gonna be the same with KO, especially with his contract situation. As of right now, I just don't think it's not gonna be the same. I don't think.
I think KO has resigned, so I don't think he's going anywhere. But yeah, it does. I'm not concerned with what he's gonna do at WrestleMania because I feel like they've already sowed seeds for either another round of KO versus Sammy or in returning to face KO because they literally did not have the matchup at Crown Jewel. If you remember, we did that review.
Yeah.
They did not have that match at Crown Jewel. So it literally feels like how things are shaping out. They're saving the KO Orton matchup for this year's WrestleMania, so Triple H can be like, guys, it's long-term storytelling. You see, they were the challengers for Logan Paul in the United States Championship matchup at WrestleMania 40, and we had plans to have them feud with one another, but we used the WWE Championship. We just followed the GPS, and we went through the twists and the turns, and it led us to this 1 year in the making Kevin Owens RKO battle that we have here.
Yo, yeah. And it's crazy because I think a lot of people started to see that about Triple H, and I'm like, they started to really see like, all right, like I get you're trying to use this whole storytelling aspect, and that's what fans harbor on. But then sometimes when something's too long, something's too long. Like shit like this doesn't have to be this long or drag the fuck out. And now it's getting to a point where it's like people are starting to get over at certain points. And that's not a good thing. Sometimes you gotta keep stuff fresh. Sometimes you could start something and get away from it and always go back to it. Like that's why I think like the whole Cody Roman thing has been pretty good when it comes to like they've had 2 matchups in 2 years and 2 of them have been at WrestleMania. So even if there was to do a possible third one, they spaced it out to the point that it was like, I don't mind a third match. Like, I don't mind it. And they spaced it out really good. With WWE, sometimes they don't not only space out the matches, but then they just drag the shit out of it. Sometimes the feuds are not even 50-50 anymore. It's just the champions it's one-sided. The champions are going to be not only winning like the trilogy matches, but then it's like, what was the point of that?
True. Yeah, it's very, very, very interesting how Triple H plays these things out, but we're gonna see. But one thing that Triple H did do very well last night, Jacob Fatu. Up next, we had Braun. Well, not all the way perfect though. I have issues. I'll discuss. Braun Strowman going one-on-one with Jacob Fatu was next. Probably my most anticipated matchup on the show. On his way to the ring, Jacob Fatu cut a promo to the camera saying that he was going to beat Braun Strowman from post to post on NBC and coast to coast. Oh my God, he was dropping bars on him. I was like, yo, he killing these promos right now. This was your big showcase of big meaty men slapping meat. We kick off with a test of strength between Strowman and Fatu. A big shoulder block by Strowman gets him a little bit of control early on, but Fatu recovered for a bit. Hits a right hand that didn't help him for long. Strowman clotheslined Fatu to the outside, but Fatu responded by hitting a big tope suicida across the middle rope to knock down the larger competitor. We go to commercial break. When we're back, Fatu is in firm control of things until Strowman hits a big sidewalk slam to create some separation. Strowman swung one of his meat hook swings and strikes that kept Fatu stunned for a bit. He then hits a big Beal throw that sent Fatu to the outside. At ringside, Strowman gets a full head of steam and hits a running charge that sent Fatu across the announce table. He was in a heap. But Fatu was like a fucking Pokemon who just evolved, who realized what the hell Braun was doing and was like, oh, I got a counter for that. Let me just lift you up and Samoan drop you right on the fucking Escalade table that we got at ringside for the commentators. Then he puts him back inside the ring. He puts him inside the ring and he starts hitting just tremendous looking hip attacks. He gets hip attack after hip attack after hip attack. Strowman, by like the fifth hip attack, has his eyes going to the back of his head. He looks all loopy. Instead of the fucking referee checking on Braun Strowman and just calling the matchup, this man is not responding. He's been hit with 6 hip attacks. At this point, the referee instead attempts to stop Fatu from continuing the hip attacks. He gets thrown out of the way for his troubles. And what does that lead to? A fucking DQ loss for Fatu. He lost by DQ for kicking Strowman's ass too much. I hate that finish with a fucking passion. Stop doing the wrestler kicks too much ass disqualification finishes, because all it does is make your referees look like absolute fucking jackasses. Oh my God. This would have been a perfect elevation of Jacob Fatu if they just would have just done a fucking simple referee stoppage. Like, it's, what the fuck is wrong with them? I have to get that out before I talk about the good part of this. The referee calls the matchup. Security pour on in as Fatu continues with the hip attacks. We get officials and SmackDown General Manager Nick Aldis arrive in the hopes of stopping this onslaught by Jacob. Strowman at this point is left bleeding as Fatu hits his double jump moonsault on him to the roar of the fans. The basically how bad this finish was. If they would have done the finish that I wanted of a referee stoppage, there would have been a chance of the fans booing Fatu beating up big giant babyface Braun Strowman. But the fact that he got screwed in the finish, and because he's so cool, the fans were in love with all of this carnage. So when he hits the double jump moonsault, they're screaming one more time, like he's a goddamn babyface. So he goes to the top rope. He hits another double jump moonsault. At this point, Strowman is bleeding from his nose, his mouth. It looks like he's bleeding from his eyes. We get Fatu is led to the outside by Tama Tonga as the officials check on Strowman. And then Fatu comes back a third time. This man is so winded from the first 2 double jump moonsaults. He doesn't even do the double jump on the third one. He just climbs to the top, does the moonsault. Strowman is in a heap as security officials are checking on him. The Samoan werewolf is more than satisfied in living up and boasting about beating Strowman from post to post, coast to coast. The match was rather nothing. It was rather short, but my oh my, what a post-match angle that absolutely makes Jacob Fatu look like the absolute world beater of all of WWE. What they did with Bronson Reed and Braun Strowman, it was a success in general. But man, after seeing that feud and then seeing the way Jacob Fatu destroyed Braun Strowman, man, this makes Jacob Fatu feel like the breakout star of 2025, and we're only about 26 days into the year. He already feels like he is on the cusp of being the 2025 breakout star. This was wonderful, meaty chaos and carnage, and this is what Jacob Fatu is good for. The fact that they have been giving him his voice, letting him cut promos, getting over his character, and then they do this bombastic over-the-top angle with Strowman bleeding out of his eyes. Like Jacob Fatu, put the WWE Championship on him tomorrow. He looked like $1,000,000 last night. This was the angle and the moment of this entire show.
Yeah, I think this was the best part of the show, to be honest with you. As far as like the whole finish, like the match finish itself, one way I do agree with you. It should have been a stoppage. Stoppage still would have kind of protected Strowman because he didn't get pinned.
It still would have protected. He didn't lose.
Yeah.
He just couldn't continue. And this is the thing. Like, people told me, oh no, they had to set up the rematch. A stoppage finish does the same thing. Like, it does not make sense to give Jacob Fatu a DQ loss because he kicked too much ass. There's nothing nobody can say to make me understand that.
Yeah, and then it wasn't even like like how they do the holds, right? Like, say like if they're doing like a submission hold and they give you like up to 5, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, and you gotta let go. It wasn't even like that situation. It was just he wasn't stopping, and all of a sudden, like the only reason why he probably got it because more so he threw the referee out of the ring.
Yeah, Chase, he threw the referee out after 6 hip attacks, where he ran to the other side, the other corner, giving the referee an opportunity to be like, Strowman, are you responding? You're not responding? Let me ring the bell and end the match, because he's not stopping, so it's up to me to stop the match.
That was kind of
instead of checking on Strowman and deciding to stop the match because he's not responding, he decided to stop Jacob Fatu. Thus, Jacob Fatu said, "You're a fucking idiot because you should have just rang the bell. Get the fuck out of here." He did what he was supposed to do, and he lost because he kicked too much ass and then got into the way of getting too much ass. No, you could, Jace, if you want to believe WWE and be like, oh no, that's the reason he got disqualified is because he threw the ref out of the ring. No, the ref got in his way because he was kicking too much ass. So he had pushed the ref out of his way so he could continue kicking ass. Thus, Jacob Fatu got disqualified because he kicked too much ass. Sorry, I had to break that down because there was some confusion in the chat. But
no, I know. It's just I do agree with that. Yeah, it was just I don't know. I thought it should have been a stoppage. Even the referee, that was very Rick Knox of him. Like by the third one, he should have checked on him. Like what the like he just let it happen. He let it happen, but then he was trying to like tell Jacob, stop. Why don't you check on Strowman to see if he can still continue? Like that makes the most sense, right? That's what they always do. That's what they are supposed to do. So that aspect. That's the only nitpick I have. But besides that, damn, like he beat the shit out of Strowman. Like I didn't expect that.
Why are we protecting Braun Strowman in 2025?
Yo, that's crazy. Cause
like for real. Like I literally on the Fightful post show yesterday, I had to check my phone. I was like, no, it is 2025. I thought it was 2027. Because why the fuck are we protecting Braun Strowman?
That was crazy. I guess they still view him as a big monster, and I don't know. But he beat the shit out of him, so it's not saying much of a monster because he beat the bricks off of that man.
He did.
Yeah.
He did.
It was good. It was good. Like it made Jacob look good, and like it made him look good. Now I know a lot of people are saying like, oh, it made him like a star. But I was like, I'll still wait on that because to make somebody a star, you got to see the booking. You got to see the overall booking. And with WWE, somebody can have a prominent moment. Doesn't mean they're going to be a star. Because we've seen it with Bronson Reed. Bronson Reed, he had his moment. He had his breakout moment when he basically killed Seth Rollins on TV. Then he did it to R-Truth. Then he did it to Miz. But then he wasn't winning big matches. He wasn't winning big matches. He kept losing big matches. That's not really building the star. At least in my opinion, that's not really building the star. You can't win. You got to win big matches, at least like on paper. So with Jacob, I think so far he has tools, but it's a matter of how they go with it. Because you know how it is. WWE is more corporate, So they're gonna see as, you know, hey, we're gonna make our champion, but then it's like we got so this person is gonna have to be like a money maker and stuff like that. You know, those little aspects. I know I'm being very nitpicky when it comes to that, but that's just how WWE does their business. But I mean, he has the tools, he has the potential, he has the ring skills alone. And he's been talking more. That's what I've been wanting more from Jacob. I wanted to talk more and then not sound like I said, like he shouldn't be sounding like the Incredible Hulk. You know what I mean? Now he sounds more normal compared to like how he was sounding before. I love you, Solo. All right, bro. I know you can say that. I know you can say like 5 words. Like I want to see more, and he's been doing that. Like that's good. Like that's good stuff that he's been doing. And then, you know, like I said before, like he's going back to like certain things that work for him, like in MLW. Just keep doing that. Like if it works for you, just keep doing it.
Yeah, it's gonna do him some world of good. I hope we get the heel turn on Solo Sikoa, because this man's
has to
ready to
happen.
leave. He's ready to leave now. Like he's at that point. We get Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard were in the crowd. Michael Cole tosses things over to Testator and Jesse Body Ventura, who stood at the Okerlund position. They then went down and ran down the Royal Rumble lineup, the men's and women's Royal Rumble, the ladder match between Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens, and the 2 out of 3 falls match between DIY and Motor City Machine Guns. So really good lineup. I think that's all the matches we're going to get for Royal Rumble, because Triple H did do a 4-match Royal Rumble last year. I think he's going to do that again this year. We'll see if it works out better than last year. Did not work.
I mean, I do like the fact they added a tag team match, because that's one thing I've been saying. I was just like, you want your tag team to feel important, it needs to be in the PLE, you know. And this is obviously like one of their big 4s, and it's a good spot for them. 2 out of 3 falls. I mean, that's a potential show stealer, you know. Like they should. That match should be still in the show that night. So we'll see.
Yeah, based on the card, it could be. But we finally had the World Heavyweight Championship up for grabs. Gunther defending against main event Jey Uso. Gunther caught Uso early with a big boot to the head as we start the matchup. It led to a striking start between the two. The world champion gave us the sight of a big meaty man slapping yeet as he hit Jey with a hard chop that sent the challenger outside, which sent us to a commercial break. We return with Gunther flattening Jey with a clothesline for a 2 count. Gunther maintained his dominance with boots and chops to the head of Uso, who fired back with some strikes. A very hard-hitting world title matchup this was, as Gunther applied a submission in the middle of the ring, but couldn't hold it for long. Jey came back, lifting up Gunther for a Samoan drop to create some much-needed separation. Gunther delivered his finishing powerbomb, but Jey was able to kick out at 2. Jey fought his way back, rolling out to the apron. Gunther attempted to choke him, but with a boot, which led us into another commercial break. We return from break, same as the last, with an exchange of strikes, ending with Gunther. He starts ringing off some German suplexes onto Jey. Jey then runs at Jey for a big lariat, but then he gets caught with the super kick for the first time, with Jey getting the near fall. Jey avoided the shotgun drop kick by Gunther and hits a running hip attack. Uso ascends to the top rope, but was intercepted by Gunther. Gunther tried for a superplex, but Jey was able to slip out and hits a sit-out powerbomb for a near fall. Gunther was then surprised by Jey with a surprise spear. We get a 1, a 2 in 0.99. Gunther's able to kick out. Another super kick. A horrible looking spear. Jey goes to the top rope. He goes for the Uso splash. He hits it. The crowd is on their feet. 1, 2. Gunther kicks out again at 2.99. The fans are on their feet. Big "this is awesome" chants at this point. Uso goes for a 3rd spear, but Gunther catches him. He hits 1 powerbomb, rolls him out, hits a 2nd powerbomb, 3rd overall of the matchup, puts all his weight on Jey Uso's body. 1, 2, 3. Gunther retains the World Heavyweight Championship in what I thought was a very good main event with a great final 5 minutes that had the crowd on their feet. The only real nitpick of this matchup is that the commercials I think the commercials is the main thing that prevents this from being considered a great match, in my opinion. But very good stuff. Jay came close, had the San Antonio crowd convinced he could win, but Gunther retains. What did you think about the main event of Saturday night's main event?
I mean, the match was fine.
I gave the match 3 3/4 stars, by the way.
Yeah, the match was fine. The match was fine. Was it short? Was the match short? Like, how long was the match? Because
I will check that, but you can give your thoughts while I do.
I mean, the match was. I mean, I thought it was good. It's just that because what we spoke about yesterday with a Gunther match, like you gave it 3 3/4. I'm like, yeah, it's true. I haven't seen a 4-star plus match from Gunther in a while, and this was kind of no different. This was no different.
It went 16 minutes 42 seconds, but it had 2 commercial breaks, so that's like we only saw about like 10 11 minutes of it.
All right, because I saw it on YouTube they have the full matchup and it was like 10 minutes. I was like, was it 10 minutes? I was like, I was kind of confused, but it was like you said, commercial. I was like, they probably cut off the commercials. But again, I mean, the match was fine. It's just there was zero indication I had that Jay was winning. Even that close call of like he did the splash. I was like, Gunther ain't losing to no damn one splash. He ain't losing to that. So I mean, the match again, it was a fun matchup. It's just Jay just keeps falling short. And yesterday too on Twitter, he was getting roasted. I don't know what was going on. He was getting roasted. I don't know. It was like the outfit or how he looked. I'm trying to remember, but I know somebody like was roasting his ass. I guess like it was the way he was looking, like in the ring. Somebody said something that I forgot to take a screenshot of it, but I kept laughing because I was like, "Yo, who comes up with this shit?" Like they were roasting him. Like I don't know what it was yesterday, and I think people were just calling him like everyone was just like people were just saying, "Oh, Jay deserves better." He deserves better. They're trying to like give words of encouragement of like, hey, he's still over, he's still a merch mover and all this stuff, which is good for him. Like it's helping his pockets, so it's, on a personal level, I get it. But at the same time, guys, it's like, it's not that deep. Like, I don't think it's that deep. Like, he's fine. He's realistically outside. He's fine. It's just on TV. I mean, like we said before, I don't think he's ever going to be a world champion. They could make him, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Sad.
That should, yeah.
But sad but true. I don't know. It will take a lot of, I think, injuries of top guys or something to happen for Jay to get a world title run of any significance.
Yeah, because he's a great hype man. Like, and that's his thing. Like, he's a great hype man. Right? We talk about like his entrance all the time, people getting into it. That's great for him. Like that benefits him no matter what, because he's gonna get TV time. So I mean, on that aspect, Jay's fine. Like again, he's worked hard, especially from being a singles guy, like he's worked extremely hard. So even if he doesn't ever become a world champion, doesn't necessarily need to be, because I think he's already solidified what he's about.
That is true. We got Chase who says Jay has no moveset for the middle of the match and middle of the match be champion. Yeah. Good ending sequence, can start a match hot, but in the middle he don't got nothing. Yeah. That's what it comes down to, because the middle portion of the matchup is probably when Jimmy is either taking the heat or given the heat. So he doesn't have to do anything much. So it's really, he's playing from behind with a lot of the other single stars on Monday Night Raw or on SmackDown for that matter. But
yeah, and then also I wanted to add to Pile Driver's comment about like he'll be Rey Mysterio. Yeah, he'll be a Rey Mysterio world champion. I'm like, if he went, probably he'll lose a lot of matches. That's not a good thing. If you're gonna give me the belt, I'm gonna lose more matches. Don't give me the belt at all.
But we made it to the end of our Saturday night's main event, January 25th, 2025 review. We appreciate y'all if you joined us live. Appreciate y'all if you're watching us on demand. Final call for super chat donations. Come on, guys. Show us some love for what we did today and show some love to the True Heel Heat YouTube channel. If you haven't already, if you're feeling generous and you want to give back to what we do here, final call for that. But also final call for your match of the night. Your MVP, your LVP, whether you gave the show a thumbs up, a thumbs down, a thumbs in the middle, and out of 10, what did you give the show overall? For me and Josh, for the January 25th, 2025 edition of WWE Saturday Night's main event in 3, 2, 1. Thumbs in the middle from me, thumbs in the middle for Josh. Josh, out of 10, what did you give the show?
I think I give it like a 6.
I'll be the high man here. I'm gonna give it a 6.5.
Yeah, between
6.5 show. It was like I said, I think it was a little bit lower than the last show because the last show had the fact that it was first. This did not feel like we are trending upwards on this show. Did not feel like that at all. It just feels like it's either balanced, it's either the same, or this is a tick lower because the Royal Rumble is next week.
I think it's an auto. Honestly, the best way to describe it is it's like an autopilot kind of show. Like it's just it's gonna get you there. That's all it is.
It was a show because they were scheduled to do a show. It's not a show of any type of significance or anything that you would have watched that be like, you know what, outside of what the 5-minute Jacob Fatu angle out of a 2-hour show, if 5 minutes is really memorable, I don't know about that, pal. But my MVP for the show is the aforementioned Jacob Fatu.
Same. I mean, nobody came out looking any better. And I mean, at most you could say Braun because, that was a good matchup. But Jacob, I mean, I think that's done more for him going forward, especially like with this whole bloodline stuff that's going on. And apparently the name change possibly did him a lot of favors.
Yeah. Who was your LVP for the show?
LVP, by default, I'm gonna say Jey Uso. He lost again, and I think this is his 6th title.
His 6th world title shot. To be fair to him, though,
I think it's his 6th, right? I think it's his 6th world title loss. I think it's his 6th.
To be fair to him, 6 of his previous title shots were. I mean, out of the 6. 3 of his previous title shots were against Roman Reigns. So to be fair,
yeah, I mean that is true.
He was versing 1300-day Roman Reigns, where Kevin Owens actually has the record for the most losses to 1300-day Roman Reigns.
Yeah, I mean, I will say that. But I was by default, I would say him, and then actually no, I'll change it. Braun Strowman, he got his ass whooped. Like,
you know what I'm gonna give it to? I'm gonna give it to Sheamus because he failed again at the Intercontinental title. Like, I'm done. I'm over it. I'm like, let's get this shit on the road. Let's get this story done. You've been telling this story for the better part of 5 years.
But you know what's crazy though? There was people who were saying like, hey, he signed a new contract. They could do this like in a year or two. I'm like, no, like this shit's been told like 3 years now. Like it's been told since like Clash of the Castle when he faced Gunther. Like it's been that long. That's 3 years, guys. Like, why do I need to wait longer? I mean, I like Sheamus. I respect the shit out what he's done for the company, but do you really need to wait another fucking year for him to win the IC title? No, you don't. You could do it, like you said. They could do it very soon. At most, honestly, if it doesn't happen at WrestleMania, then I don't give a fuck at that point. It's
I don't give a fuck anymore.
Don't try to summon it. It's like don't even try to sum.
If you don't do it at WrestleMania, it's fucking Joe Hendry winning the TNA World Title at Genesis.
I was about to say that, and that's crazy because the Sheamus thing has been a lot longer. So it's like that's saying a lot. That's saying a lot.
Yeah, I don't have no more patience for this shit. So yeah, I'm giving it to Sheamus, and then match of the night, I'll give it to Jay versus Gunther. What about you?
Match of night. I'll say yeah. I'm gonna go with Jay versus Gunther. I was kind of leaning with Braun versus Sheamus. I was kind of leaning with that, but the main event was actually pretty good. Like it was a solid main event.
Yeah, I rated both of those matches 3 3/4 stars. Like if you're gonna watch a match, probably those two. Save the other two. Just watch the post match of Jacob Fatu. But yes, that was Saturday night's main event for January 25th, 2025. Want to thank Josh for joining me today for the review. I will be back with you guys on Tuesday at 1:05 p.m. Eastern Time, reviewing this week's Monday Night Raw on Netflix. Also got on Wednesday, we'll be doing our Royal Rumble preview, so join us for that as we do our predictions for the big show coming up on Saturday. AE Ramble on Thursday as per usual. Friday, we may have a THH cut, as well as tomorrow, maybe dropping either a THH cut or the TNA Genesis review that I'm going to put up for the members later tonight. Maybe I might drop it for y'all tomorrow on the channel. Maybe we'll see about that. But got a lot to enjoy on the channel, and they're all building up to next Saturday, where we're going to do the True Hill Heat flagship podcast, True Hill Heat 314. And then we got our Royal Rumble watch along. And then on Sunday, our Royal Rumble review. Josh, big Royal Rumble week ahead. Until then, let the people know where they can follow you on social media and when they might see you again.
You can follow me, JamPunk321, Twitter and Instagram. And I'll probably be on for the Rumble review. The Rumble, I might not watch it live, so I'll eventually catch up to it because that Saturday I'll be super busy. So I'm gonna watch the show regardless, and then Sunday I believe I'm free, so probably join in for the review.
Nice. I will see you then. But you know the deal. You'll see me. Follow me on the Twitter machine at TrueHillSP3. Follow the gang, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at True Hill Heat. Patreon.com/True Hill Heat. $3 a month gets you exclusive content. The best place to support us when we are not live here. We got our final 2 end of year videos for 2024 will be dropping on Patreon. I'm going to say tentatively this week. We'll also have our Air Gold versus SRS video that's going to be dropping on for our Patreon backers this week as well. If you're a member of the channel and you want to watch that, go out of your way, watch it today, watch it tomorrow, because we'll probably put it up for Patreon on Tuesday. So you still have a couple of days to watch it here on the channel if you are a member, and hit the join button and become a member for just $1 a month. But for the True Josh, it is me, your True Hill Phenom SP3. I will see you all on Tuesday, excuse me. Until then, this has been our WWE Saturday Night's main event, January 2025 review. We are signing off until next time.